Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first round matchup live stream for this weekend's 2024 Vanguard GT in beautiful and only slightly pollen-covered Fredericksburg, Virginia. Joining me is Mike Gill, Steve Forster, and Ray Shields. Hey guys, welcome. I'm your TO, Mike Atkins, and what we're about to do here, for those of you who haven't seen something like this before, is we are going to run through the first round matchups for this weekend's GT. We're going to go over the list real quick, and then our panelists are going to tell us what they think about the matchup and pick who they think is going to win in each individual match. We're going to tell everybody what the first round scenario is and what the map looks like before we go through the list, so everybody kind of has all the information. What the panelists say is meant to be taken as their opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Nobody take anything said too seriously. This is all in good fun. I'm certain there will be some gentle ribbing of folks, but we're all friends here. Nobody really means any of this. So don't get too offended if people say they don't like your list or they think you don't have great chances or whatever, because honestly, we don't have a great track record for picking these things anyway. Last time, Ray got more right than everybody else, and we rolled randomly to see which one he would pick. So, when I say our predictions are rarely better than a coin flip, last time they were not actually better than a coin flip. So there you go. And I will remind everyone that our panelists here this evening are competing to be declared this year's Oracle. Whoever gets the most right, I will give them this medal the next time I see them at a future event. And as is traditional, whoever gets the least correct will be receiving the pink gorilla model, which I believe is currently in Brad's possession, although he's not the rightful holder of it. He's just holding on to it. I think it might be Ray, who's the actual holder of it. If you come in last, you're given that model, and you are honor bound to play with it at least one game at your next GT, or at least have it on the table.
So ACM.
ACM, right.
I'm currently the winner. If you can get up to Orktown with Jake, then I can play with it at Orktown.
Unless you are going to Carolina Cryptid at the end of May, a couple weeks before. But there are, we have a lot of GTs coming up in the next couple of months. It's going to be great. So I have just a couple things before we start getting into the meat of our presentation here, of our show, so to speak. One, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors this year, our sponsors of Mantic Games and Troll Horde Games and Your Hobby Place. They're hooking us up with prize support and door prizes this year, and we're very appreciative of our sponsors for providing all those things for us. Second, this is something that I am going to say tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to do the venue walkthrough video, as I usually do on Thursday, to kind of show everybody the layout and talk about like where to park, and actually show people the parking space to talk about it a little bit, and then kind of walk through the venue to show everybody where everything is, so that folks are we're all on the same page when you get there. So this is something that I am going to say tomorrow, but I'm going to say it now because I want everybody to hear it. When you get to the venue and you're pulling up the driveway, you are likely to see what looks like a gift from above of a perfect parking space right next to the door. Okay? That is not a parking space. You are not God's favorite princess and have not been gifted a magical parking space. That is a loading zone. Okay? Last year, we switched over to having all the food delivered during the weekend, and having people parked right there in those first couple spaces made it really hard to get all the food in and out of the house. So we are reserving the closest parking space at the door as a loading zone so that the food can all get in and out. If you park there for more than like 3 minutes to unload your stuff into the mudroom, we will tell you to move your car. We will probably not be very polite about it. I encourage everyone to ridicule anyone who no handicap spots. If someone has a handicap pass, they can have the space right next to it. We encourage everyone to publicly ridicule anyone who tries to park in that spot for the remainder of the weekend. And they'll have to eat last at every meal because by trying to save themselves like a 10-yard walk, they delayed food for everyone else. So don't be one of those people. I suspect at least 4 of you will. still try to park there, and we will yell at you. So just don't do it. Just park someplace else. Just understand, like the orange cone that will probably be there means just don't fucking park there. Cool. All right. I'm gonna say that again tomorrow, but I'm saying it twice to make sure everybody gets it because I don't want to have to run out of the house until somebody moves the damn car. All right. That's the unpleasant part. Now that's out of the way, let's get on to the fun shit. Boom. All right. So our first round matchup. It looks like we're gonna have 30 players this year. That's fine. I love having an even number. We have 21 armies represented in 30 players, which is a lot. We've got 3 Abyssal Dwarves, 3 Order of the Green Lady, and 3 Salamanders. Only 2 Dwarves.
Not 10?
I know. And only 2 Kings of the Men and 2 Northern Alliance. So yeah, that's between the 3 Abyssal Dwarves and the 2 Dwarves. That's 5 total dwarf lists, which is a lot less than we saw at Pilgrimage. And then just a lot of individual lists, like a lot of just one-offs, which I think is pretty cool. That's a pretty good spread for a 30-person tournament. Anybody got any comments on that?
The one Twilight Kin is still a surprise to me.
You figured there'd be more?
I thought there was going to be a few more.
Yeah. They're the new hotness. But
yeah, me too.
Jason Bazone's not going to be there. He has Twilight Kin, and who else? I just think people are still probably getting their magic stuff painted up.
Cool.
And also, there's not more dwarfs. 2 is probably the lowest number of dwarfs that there's been at a Mid-Atlantic GT in probably years.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think after Pilgrimage, I think people even like half the people that played dwarves were like, okay, that's enough. It's time for something else.
Yeah. Well, before the one drop, we had 2 halfling players, and I was excited about that.
Yeah. We didn't have two halflings to rub together. Then they'd multiply. But alas, we're back down to 1. So
well, they could almost be a real human then if you put them one on top of the
other. Yeah, you put the one if you stack them. Right.
We've tried that in the dojo. It doesn't work as well.
All right, and in terms of like average drops and average unit strength, those are right about what you would expect, right? About 14 drops is average, about 24 unit strength is average, 10 to 19 drop armies, 19 to 29 unit strength armies. I think I might not have even moved those numbers from last year. Like when I loaded up the slideshow from last year and did the math, I was like, same fucking numbers. It's almost like it's mostly the same people year over year playing mostly the same lists. Who knew? All right, so let's move on. So the first round scenario is going to be smoke and mirrors, because I like starting with the hard one to play while everyone is still alert and awake and not 2 days hungover yet. So the first round one will be a bluff token scenario. There will be a full pack of 10 bluff tokens on every table for everyone to use if you don't have them. So if you don't have a set of bluff tokens, don't worry about it. We got you taken care of. And this is the map for the round. So the blocking terrain is both kind of on the edge of the deployment zones on opposite sides of the table. There's a lot of hills kind of in the middle. The forests are kind of spread to each side. And then everybody's got a little bit of height 2 difficult terrain somewhere in their deployment zone. Any thoughts from the panel about the combination of the scenario and the map?
I'm looking forward when people call the TO over and asking if I charge up a one hill, do I still get the bonus if they're on the other hill? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, the answer is no. But
the answer is no. That's right.
What I like is the 2 impassables make a really easy placement for a 2-point token, which is hard for the person on the opposing side to get to. So, for example, I can just put it south of the square impassable, a 2-point, and it's pretty easy for me on the bottom to get to, but pretty hard for the person from the top to challenge. But it's balanced because both sides have that advantage, so it's a good map for it.
Yep. All right. Moving on to table number 1. Ta-da. So table number 1 is going to be Alex Chavez versus Brad Park. This is a challenge match. This is also a rematch of the last round top table match at Pilgrimage. Now, we do intend to live stream the top table, or at least table 1, every round. For like rounds, 2 and 3, we might choose to move some tables around to put like an interesting match that isn't currently at table 1 there. But for round 1, this seemed like a pretty natural choice of what to feature on table 1 and live stream, since it is a rematch of the top table match from the last GT. So the lists. Alex Chavez is of course playing. Oh, okay, never mind. Alex is playing Order of the Green Lady out of left field from somewhere. Who knew? So he's got 12 drops of 22 unit strength to Brad's 13 drops and 25 unit strength on his Northern Alliance list. Alex is bringing some Brotherhood Centaurs, double Redemption Knights with Sharpness and Elite, triple Forsaken Hordes with Brutal Strider and Drunken Ram, Beast of Nature kitted out like you would expect, triple pegs for Chaff, an Avatar of the Green Lady, and Exemplar Redeemer. Brad's list is some half-elf berserkers, a couple of regiments of pack hunters, some Icekin hunters, a horde of tribesmen with tundra fighters and fury, a regiment of tundra wolves, a Frostfang horde with tundra fighters and staying stone, a Frostclaw rider regiment, a Snow Fox regiment, a cavern dweller, the Ice Queen with Blizzard and Bane Chant, a Scald with the loot, I believe it is. It's underneath the slide thing. I can't read it. And Grim, the legendary giant. So let's get our panelists' thoughts on this matchup, starting with Gil.
One, I think Brad, with his list construction, he went through looking at your terrain rules and the extra terrain, and he just wanted to change his list up. He's usually more shooting than this, so he's going more melee style, which is my style. Alex looks like he's tired of getting charged. He's finally getting ready. No longer just take the charges. He's going to come hard and fast across the board. With less shooting on Brad's side, I don't know if he'll do as much damage as you normally would. He's got some stuff to do some plink damage, slow him down. But I think the game's going to come down to when Alex finally pulls the trigger, does it kill enough or hurt him enough, or does Brad take advantage of the terrain and try to slow down the alpha?
All right. And who is your pick?
Oh, I'm going to go with Brad. I'm going to go with my dojo mate.
All right. Steve.
So I like Brad almost has like a Highlander style list with only beginning to being pack hunters. And Alex is bringing the Mid-Atlantic Green Lady filth. They're both really good players. Brad, but I gotta go with the washed up former master with this matchup. I'm gonna take Alex.
All right,
washed up.
Ray.
Well, I'm not biased at all, but I'm gonna pick Alex, and I think he's taking a list which is still in the process of being refined. I don't think Elite is the right choice on Order of the Redemption. I would have preferred to have seen something more along the lines of Brew of Strength and dropping the brutal on the Order of Forsaken. The Exemplar Redeemer is an interesting choice. I think he's trying to think about individual hunting with it, but that's my guess. Looking at Brad's list, Northern Alliance is traditionally a hard matchup for Order of the Green Lady just because you want to fight, but you will be giving up the charge. So Brad will get to feel like a dwarf in this one because he doesn't have the range. So for those reasons, pick an Alex, and I think he's going to pick the top half of the table, not the bottom.
All right. So that is going to be 2-1 from the panel for Alex. And I will point out that there are some bonus 2-point secret objectives that have to do with hunting down and killing your opponent's inspiring sources or non-scoring units. And an Exemplar Redeemer could be a pretty good piece to do something like that. So let's move on now to Table 2. This is also a challenge. This is Bill Goodrick versus Jordan Boleyn. This is going to be a Varangur versus Abyssal Dwarf match. 12 drops and 21 unit strength on the Varangur side, and 16 drops and 24 unit strength on the Abyssal Dwarf side. Bill is bringing a couple of hordes of Draugr, some Night Rangers, a couple of Hearthguard regiments with Tundra Fighters, Cavern Dweller, a Frost Giant, Magus with Inspiring and Celestial Restoration, a Scald, Magdil the Fallen, and double Chimera Lords with Strider and Sharpness. Over on the Abyssal Dwarf side, we got a horde of Black Souls, triple Immortal Guard regiments, all with Mastiffs and the Infernal Warden upgrade, Regiment of Grotesques, some mutated Mastiffs, triple Rocket Launchers, don't see that very often, Hellfane, triple Hexcasters, and then the Brewing Rebellion formation with some Slave Orc, Gore Riders, and the special character that comes with it, Jack Blood Spike. Don't think I've seen anybody play that one either. Kind of interesting. So let's start with Steve this time. Steve, what do you think?
I'm automatically going to go with the club mates. I'm going to pick Bill. That being said, I really like Jordan's list. I think Kadich and Rocket Launchers are one of the better indirect war engines worth taking. The Brewing Rebellion's a great formation, and triple weakness Hexcasters. That's tough. It's going to be a tough matchup. I think Bill can take it, but I'm if Bill wasn't in my club, I'd be picking Jordan. But since Bill's in my club, I'm picking Bill.
All right, Ray.
Well, full support for you on that choice, Steve, but I'm going to go with Jordan because neither of them are in my club. And what I like about this is Jordan has the shooting to cause Bill to come forward, and I think he has enough pieces that he can do the appropriate trades to get where he wants to go and win in the end. But I think it's going to be a close match. I'd like to see how the double Lord and Chimera works. So that's the question mark piece I have for me because that's an awful lot of points. But looking forward to seeing the results for this one.
All right, Gil.
I think that's a lot of weakness going out. I think there's a lot of good targets on the side, and I think if by turn 2 Jordan can peel one of the Lords of Chimera out with all the shooting, he's going to be in a pretty good space. That we forget, Ordered March is probably one of the best new rules in the game for late scenario, and I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Poopy Pants himself, Jordan Bolin, for winning this matchup.
All right, so that is 2 for Jordan, 1 for Bill. And let's move on to table 3. Table 3 is going to be Bart Kohler versus Matt Schenker. This is also a challenge match. Like half the matchup are challenges. Love it. Love to see it. This is going to be a Night Stalker versus Goblin match. Bart's got Night Stalkers and Matt's got Goblins. That's going to be 13 drops and 27 unit strength on the Night Stalker side, and 19 drops with 24 unit strength on the Goblin side. So you know what that means. Looking down the Night Stalker list, Bart's got some Phantoms. He's got a couple of Butcher Hordes. He's got a Ravager's Horde, some Shadow Hounds, a couple of Soul Flayer regiments with Strider and a Blade of Slashing, the Planar Apparition, a Shadow Hulk, a Terror, the Portal of Despair, a Butcher Flesh Ripper, and a Dread Fiend. Kind of like a toolboxy kind of thing going on there. And over on the Goblin side, 1 Rabble Regiment only. That's weird. Triple Sharpsticks Horde. There they are. Okay. I was worried for a second there. Double Mincer Mobs with Elite and Towering Presence. Double Rock Throwers, triple Trombones, 2 Wiggets, Gurney Snark, a Flagot with a Loot, a Wiz with Alchemist Curse, and the Bang Sticks formation, which is a couple of regiments of Fleabags and a King on a Fleabag. I think we are starting with Ray this time. Ray, what do you think?
I know Bart's sad with the Trident Realm 2024 update, so I guess he's fled to the dark side and continue to play the dark side with Night Stalkers. I know he dabbles with his models one way or the other. This is a really good list. It's fast. With Stealthy, it's not what the Goblins want to see when they're depending upon shooting on 5s to go to 6s. That being said, I don't think Matt has enough unit strength for the Goblins because that's the traditional way to defeat them is just kill the units that have unit strength. I do love the Bang It Sticks, though. Just such a random piece of unit with the exploding 6s that hurt you. So my heart wants to say Matt, but my brain's saying Bart. So I'm going to go with Bart.
All right. That is 1 for Bart. Wrap back around to Gil.
I believe I'm also going to go with Bart on this one. I think the amount of negatives that the Goblins are going to take with the stealth, with all the terrain, That and I just want to see a Terra get 20 attacks running into one of his the hordes. So I think it's an uphill battle for goblins. So I think Bard's going to take it.
All right, Steve.
Having played goblins very extensively, I don't particularly like Matt's choices with his list. In order to be at least semi-competitive in this matchup, you need more lightning bolt, which he doesn't have at all. And Bart's list is very stout and very solid and really built to beat this list. So I'm going to go with Bart as well.
All right. That is our first clean sweep of the evening. Best of luck, Matt. Let's move on to table 4. Jake Cherapika versus Steve Hildrew. This is also a challenge match. Steve, of course, visiting us from the UK. And we make him play Jake the first round. What are we doing, people? What are we doing? So Jake is playing Herd with 13 drops and 20 unit strength. And Steve is bringing Kingdoms of Men with 16 drops and 28 unit strength. Jake's Herd list is a horde of Spirit Walkers with Brew of Haste, a couple of hordes of Centaur Brace Striders with Strength and Fury, 4 Wild Gur Panther troops for a lot of fast chaff, triple Beast of Nature, get it out the way you would expect, a Great Chieftain with the Horn and the Wings of Honey Maze, a Druid with Bane Chant and Barkskin, and Moonfang. I believe Jake named his list something like Must Go Fast. And it do. So over on Steve's side for Kingdoms of Men, he's got 2 regiments of Foot Guard and a horde of Foot Guard. He's got 3 Fanatic regiments and a horde of Fanatics. He's got triple Ballistas, an Army Standard Bearer with a loot, a Fanatic Investigator, which I don't think I've ever seen anyone take that unit, with wings. So that ought to be fun. A Wizard Peg with Bane Chant and Hex, a Hero on Pegasus, a General on Winged Beast with a Staying Stone, and the Monarch. Interesting stuff on the Kingdoms of Men side there. Okay, let's start with, I think we're back around to Gil.
So initially I was looking at Jake just because I saw the 2 giant hordes of Cav, and I was like, this is going to be interesting on this type of terrain map. But he's got Pathfinder, so I was like, oh no, he should be all right. I think, and the reason why we don't see Herd as much is they have the speed, they can get the alpha. I don't think they have the ability for the counter when the counter charges come in. I think he's definitely going to get the charges in with all the Fanatics and all the Indomitable Will. I think Kingdoms will hold, and then the counter punch will be too much for him. I think Kingdoms of Men will win this one barely. I think so. It might be like a 2-1. But I'm going to go with Kingdoms of Men on this one. He flew across Team of the United States. Hopefully he doesn't lose first round.
Yeah. All right. Steve.
The Kingdoms of Men is a neat list. It's not something we typically see in the Mid-Atlantic, so it's something different, which I like. That being said, I'm going to take Jake, not only because he's a clubmate, but I think that he has the ability to one-shot, like, if he gets sets it up ready, he can one-shot a horde of Foot Guard with the Centaurs and the Beasts of Nature. So yeah, I think that Jake takes this. It's a gorgeous army.
All right, Ray.
My money's on Jake, but not for any of the reasons anyone said. It's because they're going to start at midnight again, as is tradition for Jake. Steve, coming over from the UK, is going to be time zone screwed, and he's going to be drunk because it'll be his first time at this tournament with all the people giving him a good cheer and cheering him on. So he won't be able to resist Jake's charm at midnight, playing until 2 in the morning, and he won't be used to that. So he's going to lose to Jake's experience of playing at that time in that venue. So for those reasons, Jake with the 2 a.m. Win on Saturday morning.
All right.
Ray bringing logic into here.
I mean, he did. I forget which Vanguard it was, but I did come downstairs Saturday morning, and Jake and I think it was Tim Smith played their first round match at like 2 a.m. and their scorecards were filled out and sitting on the TO's desk, and we didn't see them till lunch.
He's done it twice now, so this
Yeah,
will be
he
the third time in a row.
Because he did it when he played Dan Kamek a couple years ago.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
When Devlin
This is-
and Dan came up.
Yep. This is kind of Jake's shtick. So yeah, we'll see if Steve falls for it. All right, let's move on to table 5. This is going to be Gabe Toth versus Mike Austin. So here's a dwarf versus undead matchup. Over on Gabe's side, he's got 14 drops and 26 unit strength versus Mike's also 14 drops and 28 unit strength. Looking down Gabe's list, this will look pretty familiar for anybody that's been to a tournament in the last year in this region. He's got 4 Iron Guard Regiment with throwing mastiffs. He's got Trooper Berserkers, he's got Gallus Fury, and another Steel Behemoth. He's got a Battle Driller, Dwarf Stone Priest with the Periscope and Celestial Restoration. Faber Ironheart, who's just so good for his points. And then the Royal Guard formation, the double Bulwarkers regiments with Mastiffs, the Horde, Ironclad Horde with Hammer Measured Force, and an Army Standard Bearer with the Loot. Over on Mike's side, that is a legit question, Bart. Mike has undead. He is trying it out to see what he thinks. So he's got a Skeleton Spearman Horde. He's got a couple of troops of Revenants and a regiment. He's got a Wraith Regiment, a couple hordes of Zombie Trolls, a White Horde with Strider, as you do, a Soul Reaver Cav Regiment with Staying Stone, also, as you do. The Necromancer with the Inspiring Talisman, Bane Chant, the Vicious Aura, and Surge, which he comes with. An Undead Army Standard Bearer, Morgoth the Mandatory, and double Revenant on Undead Great Burrowing Worms.
Is he playing undead because he's been a ghost for the last year or two?
Oh,
Shots fired.
nice. I think we're around to starting with Steve. Steve, what do you think?
I don't know what kind of experience Gabe has against kind of surge armies. So if he doesn't get caught out with some surge shenanigans from Mike, I think Gabe has the ability to withstand anything that Mike can throw at him from the front. And I think I'm going to take Gabe, although with the caveat that as long as he minds his angles and stuff like that, and not give up the Royal Guard horde to a white horde in the flank. Yeah, I'm going with Gabe.
All right. Ray.
So I'm going to go with Mike because I'm not biased at all. I think he has a solid list. I think he's coming out. I think he's going to remember all his angles, and he's going to dust it off and show that he hasn't missed a beat despite not playing much in the past year. And he's going to show why he should be on the Mid-Atlantic Masters team, even though that ship has already sailed.
All right. Gil.
I think he's going to come out of retirement. He's going to beat the meta that's been here, and that's been the dwarves. I think he's going to have Gabe's getting a lot of reps in. He played against Mark Howard a lot, especially with his undead, so he's used to seeing what the surge shenanigans is. So I think Gabe's going to come out. I think he's going to throw him, and I think Gabe's definitely going to take it. I think it's going to be a massive win, I think.
All right.
I'll bet you a beer, Gil.
As long as Gabe shows up and doesn't get sick from day
I'll put a
one,
beer on this match.
that's fine.
Okay.
Somebody else in the dojo is going to buy it for you. That's fine.
All right, so that's 2 for Gabe and 1 for Mike here on table 5. Let's move on now to table 6. This is going to be Rob Kinsey versus Thomas Strother. This is also a challenge match. This is going to be a Rift-Forged Orc versus Abyssal Dwarf match. Rob's Rift-Forged Orc list has 15 drops and 29 unit strength, and Thomas comes in at a very lean 10 drops and 19 unit strength. Going down Rob's list, he's got a couple of Morax regiments. He's got a couple of Riftwalker troops, a horde of Hellstriders, a Fight Wagon Legion, triple Amberox. He's got a Stormforged Shrine, a couple flaggers, and the Iron Boots formation, which comes with 2 regiments of Reforged Legionaries and a regiment of Reborn Legionaries that I put the Brutal item on. Thomas's list for Abyssal Dwarves is going to be a Decimator Horde with Elite, 2 Lesser Obsidian Golem Hordes, both with Charnox, one with Blaze Slashing, an Abyssal Grotesque Horde with Sharpness, Hellfane, Infernoc, Dravak, Dalkin, double Hexcasters with Weakness and Hex, and a Supreme Ironcaster on Great Winged Half-Breed. Okay. Less rocks than usual there, I think.
Usually a lot more defense 6 out of Thomas.
Yeah. Ray, what do you think?
So I think this is one where the scenario is the deciding factor in my mind. Thomas's list is very slow, and being able to play a bluff token game such as this against this army, you really have the option to outplay your opponent with how you place them. And Thomas doesn't have the ability to redeploy, to respond to anything that gets a surprise. So for that reason, I think due to scenario, it's going to be Rob.
All right.
Interesting list. Looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Me too. Gil.
Well, I think Tom wins the award for the most expensive character hero I've ever seen on them at 365 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big thing is, like Ray was saying, I think it's going to come down to towards the end game, is he going to be too buried in bodies to really go out and grab tokens? I mean, we have 29 unit strength versus 19, and orcs want to be buried in bodies. You can have a few run to the side, especially with those little mobile cannons that can score. I think Rob's going to take it in the end.
All right. Steve.
I'm going to pick Thomas because he's a me, but I really like the Driftforged Orc list in this scenario. It's got a lot of bodies. It's got some speed with the fight wagons and the Hell Strikers. But Thomas, yeah, I'm gonna still give him the vote just because of the club stuff.
All right. So that is 2-1 for Rob on table 6. Moving on now to table 7, getting in the middle of the field. It's going to be Mike Ireland versus Marcelo Rocco. Mike is, of course, playing his Ratkin, and Marcelo's playing his Order of the Green Lady. Looking at the Ratkin side, Mike's got 16 drops and 26 unit strength versus Marcelo's 13 drops and 24 unit strength. Looking down the Ratkin list, Mike's got a couple of warrior regiments, triple shock troop hordes with plague pots and halberds, triple claw shots troops, a death engine impaler, double night terrors, a mutant rat fiend, a tangle, a warlock with lightning bolt and conjure staff, a swarm crier, and a mounted war chief with a vicious aura. Looking down the Order of the Green Lady list for Marcelo, he's got a men-at-arms retainer regiment. He's got an Order of the Thorn regiment with a sacred water, double redemption knights with elite and sharpness, triple forsaken hordes with rear strength, drunken ram, and strider, triple pegasus for fast chaff, a druid with conjure staff, heal and bane chant, the avatar of the Green Lady, and a unicorn with host shadow beast. This is table 7. So I think we are back around to Gil. What do you think?
I love this matchup so much for so many different reasons. It really makes me happy to see this. As long as Mike doesn't have a total mental breakdown trying to figure out Ratkin, which we know nobody can, playing him round 1 numerous tournaments, his dice rolls during round 1 are insane. And I think the giant shock trooper hordes with halberds, the plague pots, I think it's going to give is the perfect answer for his list for Marcelo's. They're going to kill each other. I think it's going to be real close. But I'm going to give this to Ireland. I think his dice carry him through, and then the madness will crack.
All right. think Steve has stepped away for a moment, so I'm going to pop down to Ray.
I think this is the matchup that Mike likes. I think the Shock Troop hordes with Phalanx are just, having played Mike twice with Order of the Green Lady. I won once by the skin of my teeth. The other time I lost, and I did not deserve to win when I played him. I think this is an exceptionally hard matchup for Marcelo, and he'll have to play absolutely everything right. Token placement is what he'll have to do, but even then, those Night Terrors, I think, will be the MVPs for Mike Ireland, just because they move 9, they're nimble, and they can contest the tokens along with the Pegasus and outfight them if necessary. So for all those reasons, I'm going to vote for Mike, but tough matchup for Marcelo.
All right.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the 3 hordes of shock troops they have the halberds, so they have the phalanx. So Marcelo's going to have to be real creative in trying to pop the shock troop hordes, which I don't think he necessarily can. And extra drops that Mike has. So I'm going to go with Mike.
All right. So that's going to be a clean sweep for Mike Ireland. Yeah, I mean, when you're playing an all-cav army, you don't really want to see triple phalanx hordes on the other side of the table. So, yeah, can't say that I disagree.
None of us mentioned the claw shot troops, but those will matter in this game. Like, that's 15 shots that you have to just factor in.
Yep, definitely. All right. So that is our second clean sweep, I think.
Yeah.
No, hold on. No, yeah, we did. We had a clean Bard versus Matt. That's right. Okay. Second clean sweep. No big deal. Let's move on to table 8. We are trucking along here. Joey Greek versus Derek Senstrom. This should be a pretty good game. Joey's got salamanders, and Derek is bringing his halflings. On Joey's side, he's got 13 drops and 26 unit strength to Derek's 15 drops and 26 unit strength, matching, and a couple more drops. Looking down the salamander list, we got a couple of salamander prime regiments, ceremonial guard horde, a couple fire elemental hordes, a couple greater fire elementals, triple phoenixes, double mage priests, and a clan lord on fire drake. Going down Derek's side, he's got a brave regiment and a brave horde. He's got triple poachers regiments, triple jugger regiments, all with relentless, double harvesters, double iron beasts, one with pride of the shires upgrade, mounted sure-footed muster captain, and double sorcerers.
That's what I thought when I first saw this too. This is round 1 at Pilgrimage.
So we meet again. All right, I think we're to Steve. Steve, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, this is a rematch of round 1 at Pilgrimage. Joey's list isn't nearly as shooty as his Pilgrimage list is. That being said, Joey's list is very, very good. Triple Phoenix and backed up by Barkskin, which is just really that's a dirty trick. And there's going to be some Phoenixes that are going to just not die and just be chaffed the entire game. And I don't know what Derek has that could really do enough damage to, maybe pop a fire elemental horde, or, the ceremonial guard horde's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, I'm taking Joey.
All right. Ray.
I really like Derek's list. I think it has the speed, the shooting. It's definitely a nice all-round list. I know Joey's been working on the Phoenixes and the Salamanders, which are highlighted by the 3 Phoenixes, and he knows what he's doing with his fire elementals. So I'm going to vote for Joey, even though it's, again, just 2 excellent lists.
All right. Gil.
I really like the halfling list. I know Derek's been working on it for a while now. I've experienced it. The muster captain, just A+. That just giving Strider to all the juggers, especially on the maps we're about to see. I do like your points about the greater fire elementals. I think that they're going to be able to take on the harvesters, the iron beasts. It's just going to be a trading game. I think Derek's definitely going to have the threat with the charging with those with it. Jugger's going 19 inches with Strider across the field. When they played, they said it was very, very close. I think Derek learns from his mistakes. I think Derek's going to take this one.
All right. So that's 2 for Joey and 1 for Derek. Yeah, I played him at Pilgrimage second round, and I was not prepared. I was not prepared for the halflings. It was not close. I could not figure out what the hell to do. It might have been my first or maybe like second time playing halfling. So yeah, no, that's a very solid list. This would be a fun game to watch.
People are going to ask what Relentless is too, and he's going to explain it. And they're going to say, "What? What can you do?
Do what now?
You can reroll."
All right, so that is table 8. So let's move on now to table 9. Moving into the back half of the field here is Dale Motley versus Max Kenny. This is Order of the Green Lady versus Abyssal Dwarf match. 13 drops and 25 unit strength over on Dale's Order of the Green Lady side versus 13 drops and 27 unit strength over on Max's side. So very close, same number of drops, close to the same number of unit strength. Looking down Dale's list, it is double Centaur regiments, triple Redemption regiments, triple Forsaken hordes, double Pegasus, double Mounted Exemplars, and an Avatar of the Green Lady. That is lean and mean, Jesus. And Max's list, of course, is once again all Berserkers all the time, baby. So 8 regiments of Abyssal Berserkers with Slaver Nets, a Hellfane, an Overmaster with wings, double Iron Casters, and an Infernox. Yeah, fun stuff. Let's start. I think we're back around to Ray.
Well, I like Dale's list. I'm surprised by the 2 Sacred Waters in the Order of Forsaken Hordes. But again, this is the standard Mid-Atlantic, high-speed, low-drag Order of the Green Lady list with triple Forsaken Hordes. I don't think anyone went higher than that this tournament. Against the Abyssal Berserker Regiment spam, which just, I absolutely love it with all the auras and how they can interact and make such a speed run. And as much of a speed run as they can do, they can't outrun the Green Lady. And for that reason, I'm picking Dale. He's my nemesis. Haven't been able to beat him yet, so I'm going to vote for him each time.
All right. Gil.
I think Dale's going to have a hard time when he looks across the table and see into Max's eyes that there's not a thought behind him. Max is just go forward. He when he played Goblins, it was like, I'm going to throw rocks. And he willed that, and he would decimate people with rocks. If you were like, oh, he needs 6s, he's like, that's it, and he would decimate them. He is literally going to let you charge him and go, this is fine. And there's going to be once he kills one dwarf, 2 more are going to come up and step in his place. I got to play this list a few weeks ago. I barely got a draw out, and now it's to the skin of my teeth. Max just destroyed my Northern Alliance. 10 wounds, yeah, no problem. 10, oh, 10 twice, so I removed it. Oh, that's right. Max has this uncanny ability about himself. I think Dale is a serious player, and I think the potato is going to take him down.
All right, Steve.
I played against Max list round 1 at Pilgrimage. It was the Berserkers have all the special rules with, and they're very quick with the addition of the Ordered March, so they get a lot of rules. It's with that table and that matchup, I think Max has the advantage, and so yeah, I'm going to go with Max just for the. I think it's going to be really close, but I'm going to give it to Max just for the scenario, and I think he has a leg up on Dale with the scenario.
All right. So that is 2 for Max and 1 for Dale. Moving on to table 12, down to our last few tables here. Tony Nelson versus Ray Wyatt. We've had a couple of drops. Joe Borghese is not going to be able to make it, and neither is Robert Brandon. Tony Nelson and Robert Brandon had a challenge. This is the second year in a row that those 2 guys had a first-round challenge at my tournament, and one of them was not able to make it at the last minute. So I'm sorry that you guys are cursed for getting to play at my tournament, and I hope that one day you get to play each other somewhere. somehow. But it seems like here is just not meant to be. I don't know. So this is going to be a Kingdoms of Men versus Orcs matchup with 17 drops and 29 unit strength on the Kingdoms of Men side, and 13 drops and also 29 unit strength over on the Orc side. Going down Tony's Kingdoms of Men list, he's got 6 regiments of spear phalanxes with pikes, double beast cav horde with both with fly and vicious and indomitable will, a couple of ballistas, a couple of army standard bearers, a hero, two heroes on Pegasus, and 3 generals on winged beast. So I mean that is just a straight up hammer and anvil unit there, army there. And over at the Orcs, this is pretty similar to what Ray normally brings when he plays Orcs, I think. A couple of Morax regiments, a couple of Long Axe hordes with some waiver mitigation, a regiment of Reborn Legionaries, a couple regiments of Gore Riders, Fight Wagon Legion, a couple War Drums, God Speaker, Morax Mansplitter, and GAC. This is Table 10. Are we back around to Gil? I think? Yeah.
I was looking at this before with the other matchups, so I really think the Kings of Men, with all the ensnare, with all the terrain, with the speed, it's got so much to throw out with the Orcs, with the Alpha. I think, other than the Long Axe hordes, I think everything else is pretty much going to die to the charges. I think they're going to kill a lot, but I think all those ensnaring phalanx regiments, I think they're going to take it. I think Kings of Men is going to win this one. It's going to be close, but I think the Orcs will fall to the pikes.
All right. Steve.
We'll go with the Ray. The hammers that Tony has are all flying, so they're going to be, a victim to the phalanx from the long axe hordes, and Ray's really good about navigating the large footprints of those heavy infantry hordes. It's got Gakamak to go and the Morax Mansplainer to have some flyers sit down. I go with Ray.
All right. Ray, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Tony. I want to see his Macedonians. I wish I could see his Macedonians in person, which is the theme of the army. I think he has a nice balanced list with lots of units to play against Ray with. The Morax regiments normally get the +1 Thunderous Charge from the Morax Mansplitter, so that kind of changes some of the ability to punch through Tony's Kingdom of Men units. Overall, it's going to be a very full board. It's going to be one of those traditional fantasy, cliche humans versus orcs for the win. So I think it's going to be a great-looking game, great-looking table with 2 excellent armies, 2 excellent players, and I think Tony is going to be coming out of the mist to win and grab Excalibur.
All right. So that is 2 votes for Tony, 1 vote for Ray on table 10. Let's move on now to table 11, coming down to our last few tables. Justin Lingle versus Ryan Hoffman. Nope, that's not a typo. Nope, I didn't forget anything. Nope, that's Justin's list. That is a 10-drop, 26 unit strength, all Elohi Basilean list with 4 regiments and 6 hordes. All the hordes have Celestial Fury. I believe he named this list something like "I don't want to have to think" or something like that. Over on Ryan's side, he's playing Northern Alliance. He's got a couple of Pack Hunter regiments, a couple of Ice Elemental hordes, some Tundra Wolves, a Frostfang Cav horde, double Frostclaw Rider hordes, an Ice Queen, Sarakina the Ice Queen, Scald with the Loot, as you do, and Hrim the legendary Ice Giant. What do you think about Table 11, Steve?
When Mike first sent the list out to the matchup cast Facebook group, I just responded that Lengel just stopped trying.
He broke as a person.
It's I don't even know what to think of his list.
He's just going to show up like a hollow shell of a man and just slide things around the table.
I mean, yeah, obviously has the speed advantage. We'll be able to get some double charges, but I don't know.
He's got 10 sources of inspiring.
He also has inspiring.
It's true.
Doesn't have the. I think that some of the shooting damage is going to affect it because, especially since the hordes are only defense 4. I'm going to go with Ryan.
All right. Ray.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to take the hamstring, killing every unit that's overspeed 7 against Justin. I don't think anyone's going to take the kill all the inspiring special scenarios against Justin, because if you do, love to see your game plan. I think this is an absolute change from Justin's normal list, where he was playing Forces of Nature and being super precise with his surge. This is a screw you. I can move everywhere on the board, move speed 10 and charge 20, and hit you still with a hammer with crushing 2. I think Ryan's list is a nice all-around, relatively calm, some shooting. Shooting gets more intense once you get within 12 inches, 18-inch threat range. The problem is those ice elemental 18-inch threat range doesn't matter when Justin's I move 20, Leroy Jenkins. That's what this table's going to be. That's what I want to see. And I'm going to vote Justin on this because I think he's going to just have a ball.
All right, Gil.
At first, I was looking at the list and I was like, oh, man, he broke. I said, but it still has some legs. It's still speed 10. It still goes. It's still, crush 2, crush 3 1 unit. I think the only thing that makes it not fantastic is, if they had nimble, I think that would push it over the edge. But I think Ryan's used to seeing spam. Ryan is the spam person in our group, the things that he throws out. He's played the Scorch Wings list. He's spammed the Frost Claws. I think he's going to know how to play against it. He's got the shooting. I think it's going to be, once Langel's feet hit the ground, I think he's going to take the counter charge not too well, especially with being defense 4 with all the hordes. So shooting's going to really take an effect. So I'm going to go with Ryan, especially he's probably the best dojo player right now when it comes to the master standing. So I'll go with Ryan.
All right. So that is 2-1 for Ryan. You're on table 11.
It's going to be okay, Langle.
It's going to be all right, buddy. It's going to be fine. Table 12 is going to be Brian Swinson versus Andy Fisk. This is a dwarf versus salamander matchup. Over on Brian's dwarves, he's got 16 drops and 23 unit strength versus Andy's 14 drops and 24 unit strength. Looking down Brian's dwarf list, he's got a shield breaker regiment with mastiffs and a brew of strength, double sharpshooter troops, rock rider regiment with sharpness, double mastiff hunting packs with dogs throwing dogs, Gallic's Fury, a couple of stone priests, a warsmith, a dwarf lord on large beast with blade of slashing, and the Royal Guard formation, double bulwarkers with throwing mastiffs, ironclad horde with hammer of measured force and throwing mastiffs, and a standard bearer with bane chant. Looking over the salamander list, we got a couple of regiments of Kakota warriors, an ancient's troop, tyrant's horde with strider, a couple of rhinosaur cav hordes, double commandons, a Kakota slasher, an ancient phoenix, the mage priest, bane chant and barkskin, battle captain on rhinosaur, Kakota skylord on scorchwing, and Rakawas, the pale rider. I believe we are at Ray. Ray, what do you think of this?
I think the Shieldbreaker Regiment is a lot of points with the Brew of Strength and Mastiff. Not something you normally see, but it gets it up to crushing 3, so it can actually hurt. Berserker Brock Rider Regiment with Sharpness is also one of those choices that you don't normally see, but hitting on 3s with 26 attacks is still a bus. That being said, I was trying to think where's the line which he wants the people to hit upon, but you have the Royal Guard, so it's a solid dwarf list with enough movement to actually play the scenario. Andy's list is really good. It has a lot more movement, still has the shooting, and because it has just that bit extra movement, with still the threat from the Rhinosaur Cav hordes, and coupled with Bane Chant, I think it can go through the dwarfs if it needs to, but it can definitely do board control. And for that reason, I'm picking Andy.
All right.
Cats are evil, Steve.
Yeah, he's very mad that the laptop's on my lap and not him.
Gil.
So this was a tough one to pick because I was looking at both. I was happy I saw a dwarf list that wasn't all defense 6 for once. I think the game starts on turn 2 or 3 after all the mass steps are thrown. I think we're to see what Andy has left on the board. I think he has, like Ray was saying, he does have the strength to crack through the dwarves. He's got a lot of mobile stuff. For some reason, I'm gonna go with salamanders. I feel like they can crack through. I said there's a reason why dwarves hide with their defense 6, and I think it's I think I'm gonna go with salamanders.
All right, Steve.
I just don't know what Andy has to really hide from the shooting for that the doors are bringing, and also with the just playing the scenario. I think the dwarves just play this scenario a little bit better. So I'm going to go with Brian.
All right.
And Eddie's not technically in the Mid-Atlantic or regulars yet, so I don't have to pick him for club, but he is Ed's brother.
Yeah. All right, so that is 2 votes for Andy and 1 for Brian on table 12, which will bring us to our final 3 tables here. Coming up on the end. Moving on to table 13. So this is a challenge match, Alan Boehner versus Ed Fisk. This is a Twilight Kin versus Ogre matchup. Looking over on Alan's Twilight Kin, he's got 14 drops and 24 unit strength to Ed's 15 drops and 26 unit strength. Alan's list is a horde of Corsair Fleet Wardens, a couple of regiments of Void Touch Mutants, a couple of troops of Bound Phantoms, a couple of hordes of Impalers, a couple of Corsair Void Skiff regiments, a Planar Apparition, a Navigator with the Loot, double Summoner Crone, both with weakness, and a Soul Bane on Nightmare. Pretty cool. Over on the Ogre side, Ed is bringing 3 regiments and 2 hordes of warriors, 2 hordes of siege breakers, the Paymaster, Boomer Chariot Troop with black powder guns, a Sergeant on a Chariot with Mind Fog, a Berserker Bully, triple Warlocks with Lightning Bolt and Drain Life, and Nom Nom. Gil, what do we think?
I was upset because of the one day I was going to play against Alan and see how his Twilight Kin was going to go, but we had a few drops, so I wasn't able to play him. I've played against orcs. I played against ogres a few times, this style list. I think Alan has the tools to withstand and weather all the Lightning Bolt, the Drain Life. He's got the weakness to pretty much, and the little, what was it, the Blood Hexes for the defense buffs. And I think he has the punching power to get through the Siegebreaker hordes. I think this is going to be Alan's game to lose, so I'm going to go with Alan.
All right. Steve.
I really wish this was round 5 top table, because Alan's list is very fine-tuned and very scary. However, I do think Ed has the ability to take off a couple of units maybe before the lines crash into each other. So I'm going to go with Ed. As we'll see later, Ed is my pick to win the whole event. So yeah, but I wish this was for the whole event, round 5 top table.
Yeah,
go with Ed.
Cool final. All right, go with Ed. I agree that would be a pretty cool final. Ray, what do you think?
I'm actually curious as to how the Paymaster works out. Something I haven't seen used up here in the Northeast by Ed, and the Rally 1 with the Warriors. I'm wondering if that makes any difference at all, making them 16, 18 instead of 15, 17. So that's the one that has me scratching the head as to how it's going to work out and whether or not it make a difference. The lightning bolt and everything else, I think, is not what Alan necessarily wants to see. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Ed. Again, it's like Steve said, one of the matches I'd love to see.
Yep. So that's 2 for Ed, 1 for Alan. Yeah, this is a tough call. This would be a good game to watch, I think. Moving on to table 14, next to last table. This is Chris Dwayne versus Cap Royer. This is the Trident Realm versus Salamander match. 14 drops and 20 unit strength on the Trident Realm side to 16 drops and 26 unit strength on the Salamander side. Looking down at Chris's Trident Realm, he's got a Thule troop and regiment. He's got a couple troops of River Guard. He's got a Depth Horror Horde, double Giga Hordes, a Knucker, a Coral Giant, a Kraken, the Naiad Centurion with Boots of Levitation and Trident, a Thule Aquamage, a Siren, and Ector. Cat's Salamander list is 3 regiments of Unblooded, 3 regiments of Corsairs, a Rhinosaur Cav Horde with Strider, a Horde of Ember Sprites, a Greater Fire Elemental with the Wild Charge Aura, double Commodons, a Fire Drake, a Phoenix, a Herald with Surge, a Battle Captain with the Path of Fire, and Firebrand. Steve, what do you think of this match?
I think Cat has the shooting advantage here, and a lot of this stuff that Chris is bringing is, I mean, besides the Gigas, are defense, Thor and 3. So I'm going to give it to Cat just for that.
That is fair. Right.
I'm going to go with Chris. I think I acknowledge that most of Chris's stuff is defense 4, defense 3. But he has the speed, he has the Pathfinder, he has stealthy to be able to use terrain and use mitigating circumstances to reduce the firepower advantage that Cat has. I think they will move in deceptive ways. The Coral Giant will be a lot tougher than what people think. It always is. And the Siren will somehow come through, even though it's a choice that I don't think is actually that good, but hopefully somebody can use it to great effect. So I think good luck to Chris. I think the 3 Corsair regiments is what Cat really has to, with the 2 Cormodons, is what Cat really has to use if she's going to win against Chris.
All right. And Gil.
Well, I think Cat can win this and probably will win this as long as she shows up for round 1. I think she had, like I said before, she has the shooting, she has the experience. Trident Realms, even though with some of the stealthy, again, they are defense 3 and 4. Yeah, I think Cat has more unit strength too. I think at the end, because of the bodies, I think she'll score more tokens at the end when he finally gets across the board. I think we'll see. So I'm going to pick Cat.
All right. That is 2 for Cat and 1 for Chris, which brings us to our final table 15. This is Charles Fadouk versus Jason Britt. Chuck is playing Empire of Dust this time versus Jason's Sylvan King, which I think is pretty much his usual list. This is 14 drops and 24 unit strength on the Empire of Dust side versus 12 drops and 20 unit strength on the Sylvan King side. Chuck's Empire of Dust list is a Horde of Skeletons, double Mummy regiments, double Enslaved Guardian Hordes, a Scavenger regiment, a Revenant Chariot troop with Skirmisher's boots, the Soul Snare, a Reanimated Behemoth, an Undead Worm, the Monolith, an Army Standard Bearer with Surge, a Cursed High Priest with Drain Life, and the Idol of Shobik. And over on Jason's Sylvankin, he's got 3 regiments of Glade Stalkers, an Air Elemental Horde with Hammer of Measured Force, a Windborn Troop, a Silvery's Cavalry Regiment with the Towering Presence, Stormwind Cav Reg with Quicksilver Lancers and Sharpness, double Greater Air Elementals, an Elven King with an Own Glass Shield, an Elven Archmage with the Crown, Bane Chant, Surge, Mindfog, and a Dragon Kindred Lord. This is our last table, and we are going to start with Ray.
Well, I'm really excited to see Empire of Dust in the Mid-Atlantic. It's not something we normally see being used. I think it's a really solid, hard army. I wish I would get thoughts as to how the new Casket of Souls works with the scout move. because that would allow you to really control a scenario such as this. But this is just a really solid, tough Empire of Dust list that Charles has put forth. But playing that, just thinking about that Stormwind Cavalry Regiment with sharpness, you got 16 attacks on 2s with rerolling 1s. It's like, here, I got 16 hits, and I'm crushing 2s, so I'm going to wound you on Thunderous 2, so I'm going to wound you at least on 4s, if not better. It is such a money unit to be playing with. That being said, Charles is an aristocrat, so I'm going to vote Charles.
Charles is not an aristocrat. He's an irregular.
He's an irregular.
Oh, screw that. Going with Jason.
All right.
Because I like the Empire of Dust army, but I really like the Sylvankin at this point in time, and I want to see how it gets played.
All right. Gil.
I, for some reason, think it's going to be very close. I think we have one style, the attrition, is going to take the charge, and hope the attrition out of it. I do like the Sylvankin. I said there was something earlier. I was like, this one be one of my dark horses because I think we haven't seen Sylvankin really in the last year. So maybe some people have been not thinking about them during their list construction. Terrain is going to play a little bit, but with all the Pathfinder and the Sylvankin, I think it's going to be, can they take down all the defense 6 and weather through? So this game is pretty much going to be on when he charges in, can he kill it? If not, I think the attrition game, I think Charles wants that. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go with Charles. And I think Empire of Dust is going to weather the storm of Sylvankin right now.
All right. And Steve for the tiebreaker.
I'm going to go with Chuck. Yes, it's going to be really tough for Jason to take off a lot of this stuff in one go. And if he doesn't, then there's the plenty of heal behind it. So yeah, I'm going to go with Chuck.
All right. And that is going to bring us to 2 for Chuck and 1 for Jason here on table 15, our final table.
Just this is one of the really cool lists that Jason has where you can actually do a Wind Blast, surge into the flank, just the way it works with the Windborne troop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think they're both going to be looking for some surges. So,
Surge Shenanigans City.
Yeah.
This would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. All right, so that is the end of our table. So now we're going to move to some wrap up, some final predictions from the panelists, and some last minute reminders. So let's go through final predictions from the panelists. I usually use these as tiebreakers if everybody gets the same number of matches correct. So obviously, favorite list is just an opinion and personal taste. So let's start with that. Gil, what is your favorite list that we looked at here tonight, based on whatever criteria you want?
can I say 2?
Sure.
I would say my favorite list is a tie between Max Kenny and Derek Sandstrom. I think Max Kenny list is a very straightforward. I can drink, have a great time, and things might happen well, and I'm going to do well. I think Derek's is a lot more thought out. He's got a lot of tools. I'm looking forward to seeing him playing halflings for the next couple months, especially how this weekend goes. So I think both Max and Derek take it for favorite lists.
All right, Steve, favorite list.
My favorite list is Bart's. I think it has a lot of tools that can and some staying power. So it's also the ever gorgeous Swamp Thing army. So yeah, Bart's my favorite list.
Yep, solid choice. Ray.
I'm going to go Justin. I think it is absolutely weird. Not 100% sure if it's going to work, but give it a go. Let's see how it is. Good luck.
Someone had to. Someone had to pick it. All right, let's move on to best general. So this is who you think is going to have the highest battle score at the end of the tournament. Let's start with Steve.
I kind of gave it away earlier, but I think it's going to be Ed. I think Ed is going to take it. He's been sniffing around a podium at a GT And with this ogre list, he won like 3 1-days in a row. And there's no, even at 1-days, they're tough rooms in the Mid Atlantic. So it's my pick.
True. All right, solid pick. Ray.
So because I picked Justin for favorite list, I'm going to go Dale for best general. I keep picking Dale. He never wins when I pick him, so I'm going to keep picking him. It's my way of spiting him, like my voodoo doll of Dale. Dale, you're going to win.
All right. And Gil, who's your pick?
I think whoever wins the matchup between Brad Park and Marcelo is going to take it from there. I think they're going to
Mike Ireland?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Brad. I'm sorry, Brad Park and
Alex.
Alex. I'm sorry. I think they're both going to. Those are the only two that can stop each other. So I think after that, I think they're going to go on a roll. Yeah, they were both there at the end of Pilgrimage. So I think those two that game is going to really come out to who's going to win the tournament.
Okay, so you're picking Alex or Brad.
Yes, if I had to pick that.
If you have to, you pick Brad. Well, I'm going to put down Brad then.
I don't want to get a text message in a minute.
More than text message, you're going to start getting comments on the thread. All right, let's move down to Dark Horse. So this is somebody that you think is going to perform better at this event than people expect to, possibly a podium finish, or possibly just a big breakout improvement over their normal performance. And let's go to Ray.
Mike Austin, top 5. No one will see him coming. I think that counts as a dark horse.
Sure, it has been a while.
It's
been a long while. Gil.
Haven't lost a thing.
Mike used to be one of the best list writers in the Mid Atlantic. Because he told me that, I think. What was it? I think Mike Ireland, he has the reps, the experience, and I think he has the list to take on all the flying that we're going to see. I really like Ireland to run away with this one in the secret.
Uh,
All right. And Steve, Dark Horse pick.
Ray took mine. I was going to say Mike Austin coming out of retirement. But actually, I'm going to go with Chuck Fiduk. If Chuck had a very good showing at Battle Pilgrims, I think he built on it. So yeah, that's if it's not, since Ray took mine, I'm going to go with Chuck.
That's. I think that's reasonable. I played Chuck's Empire Dust last week, and he beat me. And Chuck very, very, very rarely beats me. So, yeah, there might be something to that. I think it might surprise people.
Finds a nut every once in a while.
No, he played it well. I think you're probably right. I think Chuck is going to do better at this event than maybe his average performance. I think that's a pretty solid dark horse pick. All right, last question. Start at the top, work my way down. Gil, who's taking home the Cornwall Cup this time? Keeping in mind that these are overall scores and not just battle.
Is Dojo? There's no question. It's been Dojo. Will always be Dojo. I mean, we won in a row so far, and we only have 6 guys going. Heard a lot of our regulars out there, so we'll see if the irregulars can take it. But I think it's going to be Dojo.
All right, Steve.
It's going to be the regulars. It's overall. We're bringing Jake's going to be there. Ed's going to be there. Ed's going to win. Ed's going to win the whole thing. Jake's going to win best painted and or best sport. So we got the team together. And like I said, Chuck's going to be a dark horse. Ray's going to do well. It's going to be the regulars. We're bringing it back.
That's true. Ray Wyatt's a solid player. If he has a good weekend, I think you guys have a solid chance. And Ray.
Do you even need to ask?
I don't need to, but I'm gonna.
Aristocrats. We lost last year, I think, for the first time in tournament history. So.
At this tournament, yeah.
So can't lose twice. It's bad for morale.
That is true.
How many guys do you have for the Aristocrats going to be there?
3.
Exactly 3.
Had 4, had 1 drop, still have 3.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. As Dojo can attest from last year, you just need 3.
Yes.
All right, so thank you so much, panelists, for the insight and predictions. I appreciate it. I've got them all written down. After the first round, we'll go through and see who's gotten the most correct and who gets to be dubbed the Oracle for this year, and who will be playing with the pink monkey model at their next tournament. So I just got a couple of reminders I want to give everybody before we sign off here. So the venue opens on Friday at 3 p.m. for people who are staying on site. That's people who have rented rooms or are staying in those guest rooms, or people who are camping. Anytime after 3, feel free to show up. Anybody else, feel free to show up anytime after 6. We will have dinner Friday night, specifically for folks that are staying on site or who have paid. For those of you who are staying on site, like you're staying in somebody else's room or you're camping, if you haven't paid the $10 for breakfasts, please do so, or just bring your $10 with you. There's still a couple of folks that haven't paid. It's not a huge deal. It's just $10 to cover breakfast, and all the other meals are already included in the tournament. Dinner Friday night is for folks that are staying on site and have paid specifically, but there's always going to be plenty of food. So if you're showing up late and you're like, crap, I didn't have time to eat, drop by. I'm sure we'll have food for folks. We're just not trying to feed like all 30 people, although I think we were planning on feeding like at least 20 something people anyway, because that's how many folks have already paid for breakfast and whatnot. I'll remind everybody to carpool, and if there's any way for you to get here without taking 95 between like Baltimore and Fredericksburg at this point, I guess, like do so. Like take a back way, take a scenic route. It probably won't take you any longer, and it'll be less stressful. So yeah, that's Friday. We're gonna have Black Powder on Friday night. Rob Kenzie's gonna bring Black Powder. So if you're looking for a game to play that isn't Kings of War, where you can just sit around and drink a beer with 5 or 6 people and have some guys in marching band uniforms shoot each other with muskets, it's a good time. The first round begins. You're welcome, Brad. The first round begins at 10 on Saturday. I've got some announcements. And then the first round will get started. So for anybody who's not going to come to the house on Friday, you got plenty of time Saturday morning to get your stuff together. I do give away door prizes like before every round, and I will give away some door prizes at the beginning of the tournament before round 1. So do make sure to be there on time. Other than that, Vanguard is in like a couple of days now, and I'm super duper excited to see everybody. We're gonna have a great time this year. We got a lot of great stuff lined up. I'm really excited about the group of people that are coming. We're going to have so much fun. I think the pool is finally like up to a reasonable enough temperature that you can get in it. We've had the heater running all week.
I saw Dev's bathing suit. He is ready.
Fantastic.
You're not. He's ready.
So everybody, if you're interested in jumping in the pool at some point, feel free to bring a bathing suit, a towel. It's supposed to get up to like 80 degrees on Sunday. And the weather should be really nice all weekend. I'm going to have a venue walkthrough video for everybody tomorrow. So look for that sometime midday afternoon, probably, to check that out, just to get the layout of the place in mind, so everybody kind of knows where they're going when they get here. Other than that, I would like to thank Mike Gill and Steve Forster and Ray Shields for joining me and giving us some predictions and some analysis of these lists. Vanguard is in a couple days, everybody. I will see you then. Take care, drive safely, and don't forget to bring some drinks for yourself and to share, because sharing is caring.
No mercy, guys. Come on, Jojo. No mercy.
All right.
Fairy, no mercy. That's all we have to say. It's our motto.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of days.